To say that this has been a whirlwind of a shitstorm over recent times would be a massive understatement, but with this topic right here, folks, we have ourselves another, well, I'm gonna just say it, another dark and sad topic to cover, and it revolves around Emiru and also Mizkif as well. So before we proceed any further, a couple of disclaimers here. Number one, this video is going to be timestamped because there are a couple of rather sizable articles to go through here to give you guys the full scope of what we're dealing with here, or at least enough of a scope to understand what we're dealing with here. And number two, this is going to involve topics such as abuse. So if this is something that is very, very sensitive and near and dear to you, please exit the video immediately, as the last thing, by God, and I say this with my full chest, the last thing that I want to have happen when it comes to my videos is for somebody to get traumatized from them because of subjects revolving around abuse. But for those that are staying and watching the video, proceed with caution, please. So the first article to go through is titled, Twitch streamer Emiru accuses Mizkif of sexual assault, abuse, and blackmail threats. Streamer Emiru has publicly accused fellow content creator Mizkif of psychological and domestic abuse, stalking, harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail during a Twitch stream on October 25th. Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. Emiru, real name Emily Shunk, told viewers. Emiru and Mizkif were previously in a relationship and lived together in Austin, Texas, close to other streamers part of the OTK, One True King streaming organization. She said she had avoided discussing the situation for most of the year. For the entirety of this year, I have attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all, and not talk about this issue, and just not make it a public thing, she explained. However, Emiru stated she decided to speak out after learning of alleged new incidents. I was informed by 3 separate people, one of whom was present for said incident, that he had done something similar to something that he had done to me to someone in LA at the end of September, she said. Because of this, I cannot in good conscience sit here knowing that I know critical information about someone that almost no one else does and not say anything. The full stream VOD is embedded below. Emiru alleges that on one occasion, Mizkif tried to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. I'm usually very uncomfortable being touched by a lot of people that I'm not in a relationship with, but I let him hold me while I was crying, and he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then, suddenly, he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants, and I screamed. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, and instead of apologizing and checking if I was okay, he said, I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go. And he immediately left my house while I was still crying. At the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble for other streamers around us. Shunk continued. There were times when he would be upset at me, and I would go to my stream room and literally lock myself in to get away from him, and he would be banging on the door and screaming at me. She also alleges Mizkif threatened her through others. For a while, he has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with, she said. They've informed me that he said if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. According to Emiru, Mizkif allegedly approached others to join him in such a campaign. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused, she claimed. She also referenced an alleged encounter at TwitchCon. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me, Emiru said. Allegedly, Mizkif planned to accuse Emiru of killing her rabbits, who had died while they lived together. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him. Addressing Mizkif directly, she added, "I'm sure he's probably listening now and is probably going to come as quite a shock to him that this information made its way back to me and that I've known for months. But if you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet." Emiru said she decided to come forward after consulting a lawyer. "I've been in contact with a lawyer. I had them review everything that I'm planning to say today because I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do this, I was going to do it right because it's so serious," she said. Additionally, Emiru showed numerous screenshots displaying messages allegedly from Mizkif after she cut contact with him. The messages repeatedly asked Emiru to speak to him and for an opportunity to resume their relationship. She closed the stream by revealing she is in the process of filing a restraining order against Mizkif in both California and Texas. On October 25th, Mizkif went live on Twitch. During the 40-minute stream, Mizkif said, in reference to his relationship with Emiru, that "I know I wasn't perfect with my language or tone throughout this entire relationship. I know I wasn't, and I was aggressive at times. In regard to being controlling, I told her many things. I told her to dress older, stop wearing pajamas, and stop talking about stalkers as a whole. Stop talking about past relationships, and yes, I didn't want her to travel without me. I also said that I didn't want her to hang out with specific people. This is because I didn't want her to get hurt." On the relationship, Mizkif continued, "I know I could have done better and I'm sorry. I know I was controlling and I should have just ended the fucking relationship, but I was so confused as a person and I'm sorry got to this fucking point." Mizkif continued to say in the last 9 months of the relationship, things got toxic, claiming he told Emiru to move out. "I told her to move out because I wanted space, but she still wanted me around at all times. She would get upset if we didn't sleep together or if we weren't around. She always wanted me to drive over to her house, but I never wanted to because I wanted to be alone." In 2022, Mizkif was accused of aiding in covering up an alleged sexual assault against Adriana Lee by streamer Crazy Slick. Lee filed a defamation suit against Mizkif in 2023. In January 2025, Mizkif said a court had thrown out the allegations against him that had ruined his life. Emiru also called out Twitch for a lack of protection at TwitchCon, where she was assaulted by an attendee, and the platform's response. So now let's go over the second article here. Twitch streamer Mizkif responds to Emiru's allegations. Now just a heads up, there are some things in this article that is repeated from the previous article, so we're only going to go over the things that are not redundant. Mizkif, real name Matthew Minaudo, said, "The fights from these times started to get worse. I would constantly want to be farther and farther from her. I would use her for content, but after the stream, I would want to be alone. I didn't know how to break up with her or end things." Minaudo alleged that while they were living together, Emiru neglected the pet rabbits that were kept in their home. Emiru has a lot of rabbits. These were a big part of her life, but as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. I would tell her all the time to take care of them, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits, so much so that many of them died, he claimed. Alleging that Emiru had shown violence towards him, Minaudo said, "I'm ashamed that the situation got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I'd punch holes in the walls or slam doors in aggression." Minaudo said 1 month after he and Emiru broke up, they got back together. Following this, returning to her house after getting food one evening, he claimed, "We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprang up and was scared if I did anything wrong or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I had said sorry back then. Closing the stream, Minato said he wanted to make it very clear that he wasn't following or lingering around Emiru when they separately attended a party after splitting up for good. After 10 months, I know we're much better off without each other. I did see her at a party once. I want to make it very clear, I was not following her or lingering around her. I was with others the entire night. I, of course, was near her, but I was never following her. I truly hope nothing but the best for Emmy. I know she said a lot of these things today, and I do believe a lot of them are false, but I do hope nothing but the best for her, and I'm sorry that any of this happened, Minato concluded. Okay, so there was a lot of context to put on the table for you guys, so I apologize for that being a very long part of the video, and I also wanted to include both sides of this situation here, because whether I have biases for or against someone, in a case where there are two sides to a story, I want to take the courtroom approach and have all sides and all facts be heard out before proceeding to whether or not that person's guilty or innocent. And there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that that relationship between Emiru and Mizkif was indeed toxic. Now, when it comes to Emiru's side versus Mizkif's side, there seems to be a lot more, I guess you could say, structure, a lot more evidence, and a lot more people backing up Emiru than they are of Mizkif. And there are some pretty interesting things to go over when it comes to showcasing some of those receipts. Now, I want to point out this post from Ufi TV that says, rabbits are sensitive and are known to just die from literally any sort of change in routine or environment, especially if those environments are problematic and loud. Ahem, like yelling and punching walls and throwing furniture around, or any of the myriad of rabbit illnesses that spread fast. Emiru isn't an animal abuser. She was in a shitty situation for so long, and that shit can affect the animals in the house it takes place in. Abusive relationships takes a toll on you and makes it hard and sometimes almost impossible to keep track of everything life throws at you while also maintaining what you have got going on. If there was any negligence, let's be real, I wouldn't be surprised if they died from Miz throwing shit around and screaming all the time. Things happen, and it's not always the owner's fault. Now, there's also a little something I want to weigh in a little bit more on, and that is the whole accusation that Mizkif made about Emiru throwing clothes and plushies at him, and then in response to that, where he shows actual signs and behaviors of aggression, such as slamming doors, such as punching holes through the walls, and yelling. Like, look it, I'ma just go ahead and call a spade a spade. Throwing clothes and plushies at someone, those are not going to hurt. Now, mind you, if it was like a harder object, like a mug or a hammer or something like that, well, obviously there is intent to harm and abuse there. But I don't think that compares to throwing something as soft and inconsequential as clothes and plushies. Like, how I'm kind of picturing this is, say if you and your loved one get into, like, a petty little spat with each other, you know? And, you know, to kind of break up the mood or something like that, she playfully throws something soft at you, like either a towel or, you know, a balled up shirt or a plushie or something like that, you know? There's no intention of harming somebody, as opposed to throwing an actual hard object at them that has weight. Like I said before, like a mug or a hammer or something that can actually cause fucking damage. Or if it wasn't playful, even if it was like dead-ass serious, there's really not much weight, no pun intended, when it comes to her throwing plushies and clothes. Now, am I justifying that? Of course not, because if the intent was to cause some type of distress, some type of harm, obviously that deserves to be called out. But here's the thing, is that if there really was intention of abuse or something like that, there definitely would have been a much larger and more, we'll say, fiercer effort if she really wanted to try and cause Mizkif physical damage. And considering that there are multiple sources on Emiru's side that can corroborate and also back up what she's saying when it comes to a multitude of things in this situation, I have more of a belief when it comes to Emiru than I do when it comes to Mizkif, because Mizkif, well, things aren't exactly on his side, and he does have a history. And another thing, I really, and I mean really don't like his reasoning and response to this toxicity and abuse by saying that he was confused as a person. Okay, confused as a person. That doesn't mean that you get to be a toxic prick and be abusive to your partner. Like, we all go through shit in life that makes us a bit confused, and, you know, we kind of, like, doubt ourselves and question ourselves and things like that, you know? I'm sure we've all been there. We've all questioned ourselves and been confused over some aspects about ourselves in life. That's perfectly normal, but to try and use that as leverage to justify or, like, you know, kind of excuse what was going on, come on, man, that shit don't fly. Now, there's also something that I had come across earlier from Asmongold that I really think that you guys ought to see.
Oh, this is a
context. Emiru exposed how Mizkif was abusive and controlling her every move during their relationship. Well, people literally found the exact moment on stream she was talking about.
And then I check my Discord messages, and he's messaging me, you know, I'm gonna kill myself. Basically, he was upset because I had higher viewership than him.
Alright, chat. I'll see you guys later. Probably tonight, if not tomorrow.
What does unofficial Mizraid mean?
Basically, Mizkif ended his stream because he had lower viewership, and his chatters joined Emiru's stream, while he was messaging her that he wanted to zap himself.
messaging her while she's live.
All acting like we haven't murdered, like we haven't pillaged.
You hear it? You see her trying to keep it together. He's slamming the door.
Go to the restroom real quick.
I'm stuck in here. Okay.
So just scared. Yeah.
I actually downloaded her VOD and confirmed how she left for 20 minutes, then came back completely overwhelmed because that schizo was spamming her, saying he wanted to kill himself while punching her door, all because she had higher viewership.
But alright, yeah, I'm gonna log out for now, but I'll probably come back later.
This is when she stopped.
And if not, tomorrow my normal time.
Which she didn't do. Yeah, I actually kept going back and forth slamming the door because you didn't get big enough for yeah. Man.
Like we haven't pillaged.
I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Mizkif waited the literal second our dear Voldemort went offline to start streaming, so I'm gonna include one of the Phase Boys' reactions. It's literally perfect.
But Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Wait, no, I gotta be getting trolled. Wait, I'm not even kidding. Is this a joke? Did I just hear him say she threw a plushie at it?
So, I hope you guys paid attention to the dynamics and the layers that was displayed here in this clip. The fact that Mizkif would get so fucking ass mad and rage quit his stream because Emiru has a higher viewership than him, that is just absolutely fucking asinine, and you can also see throughout multiple times in that clip where Emiru was startled from the constant banging and slamming that was taking place in the background audibly during her stream. And then for her to come back just completely just distraught, destroyed, and like shaken up, that fucking breaks my heart. Like, you don't need to be a fan of Emiru to understand how fucking disgusting this is. And look, unless Mizkif comes out with a fucking detailed banger, 150% accurate response that debunks everything against him, this does not look good for him, and there's already receipts and proof out there from multiple angles, from multiple people, that shows that Mizkif is not a good fucking person. Like, allegations are one thing. I take the courtroom approach when it comes to allegations, because I want to know if whether or not the allegations are substantiated by factual evidence. But when there is actual evidence showcasing displays, such as what we've seen when it came to Mizkif and his temper tantrums, his slamming of the doors, yelling, punching holes in walls, things like that, by his own admission even. Yeah, those right there are beyond indisputable evidences that he is in fact a hothead, he is in fact toxic, and to say that he needs help is, well, actually, that's a massive understatement. And from that fact alone, that backs up more of what Emiru said than what Mizkif said. So, I'm gonna keep you guys in the loop when it comes to this situation as well. There's actually several pending situations that I'm trying to keep tabs on, but man, it's like that 2025 is yet again just the year of collapse, the year of shitstorm, the year of exposure. Like, 2025 is the year of being fucking cooked. Like, it is just absolutely insane, the amount of shit that has come out about various things. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I always love to hear back from you amazing legends. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.